Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow work travelers. Oblix here, back with you today from FTB Revelation. How y'all doing today? So last time, guys, we built these environmental technologies void miners. We got some ore miners here. We got 6 of them, and then over here we got a resource miner also cooking away. And these are all tier 2, and they're shipping our items upstairs to be processed in the factory. And this thing has been working a treat. Let's go on up here. Oh, we can do it right here. And if I do at environ, you will see that we're now getting the tier 3 mineral cryonite. So we have more than enough to go ahead and make the tier 3, but we're not going to do that today. Today we are going to take a look at Project Red Transportation, and we're going to make a fish farm. Now, to be clear, I've already done this episode because, I recorded the whole thing with no audio. So here I am again doing it all over again for you guys. So bear with me if you see some things already built. So we're going to start with Project Red Transportation just so you guys can get a feel for what it is. And this is it right here. So we got a vanilla chest here. We got a vanilla chest, well, semi-vanilla chest over here. And Project Red Transportation is just an easy way to get items from one place to another. You see these item transport pipes, and then connected to the chest. To connect those transport pipes to the chest, we're using routed interface pipes, one on each side. And now there are cards inside of here. We'll talk about those in a minute. There's one on this side and there's one on this side. And this just basically tells the system what to do with the chests that it has connected to it. So as you can see, there is not a thing in that chest and not a thing in that chest. And I should put my armor back on before I forget I don't have it on. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and put this nickel and uranium in this chest and see what happens. So I'm just going to put it all in, and we see that it transfers over in 4 clumps. But we see that each of the clumps is 64, so it transferred a stack at a time from one chest to the other relatively quickly. Now what's happening is over here we've got an extractor card, or an extractor chip. That is telling the system, whatever you put in here, yank it out. Because I have no filters set on this guy. If I look it up, if I pull it out, and I right click on it, I can open up its interface, and I can look at the filter and the orientation. We're not going to get into orientation here, but we are going to get into the filter. And you can see I have nothing set in the filter. So right now, anything that goes in this chest is going to be pulled out and sent into the pipes, into the system. Now, the system won't know where to send the items until you add an item responder chip. Now this tells the system, hey, if you got something in the pipes, you can dump it in me as long as it meets my criteria. And again, we have filter, but this time we have priority, so we can set various priorities from 1 up to a bajillion. I don't know what the top number is. It's pretty high. So if you put a priority 10, it's a higher priority than a priority 8, for example. And it will prioritize putting items there versus some other place. So priority 0 is the default. That's the lowest priority. And of course you can do filters too. So you could say, only put, say, cobblestone in this chest, and only put gravel in this chest, and only put smooth stone in this chest, and it allows you to do a nice sorting system that way. So, but these have no settings on them at all. It's wide open. So what that allows is basically everything I put in this chest, regardless of what it is, zips down the system and winds up in the other chest. Steak, no problem. So fantastic. Now, if I take these and just get them out of my hair for a moment, I come in here and I grab this responder card and I say, You know what? All I want in this chest, I'm gonna whitelist, or I'm gonna whitelist nickel. So all I want in this chest is nickel. I don't want anything else. So we whitelist nickel. I'm just gonna right click and put that card in there. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna dump in nickel and uranium. And you'll see the nickel flows, but the uranium stays because it has nowhere to go. The system's smart enough to know, hey, I got nowhere to put this stuff other than the nickel, so I'm going to allow the nickel to come over here. Well, what if we say, hey, I want to be able to store the uranium too, so let's pop another chest in. Boom, like so. And we'll just cable over to it. How about that? Just like that. Well, we can't do anything with it because we haven't put the right connector next to the chest. Remember, we need that routed interface pipe. So we got to break out that, and we got to get a routed interface pipe. Boom. Now it's connected to the chest, but remember, it still can't pull anything because we haven't put the card in yet. So we're going to take a look at this card, and we see that it's got a filter whitelist of uranium. So we're just going to pop it in place, and now you can see the uranium flows to the proper place. So let's grab these out again, and I'm going to dump them in here again. And hopefully we will see the behavior I want. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. See how that item bounced around? It went to the wrong chest. It was like, oh, nope, I'm in the wrong place. I'm going to come back this way, and I'm going to go over here, and oh, got to the right place. So they will all get to the right place, but occasionally they're going to bounce around the wrong direction. They're going to go the wrong way. That's because we haven't put anything on the system that will prevent that. Yeah, you see them bouncing back and forth and all over the place until eventually, there we go, it got to the right place. Well, that takes up ticks and cycles and pains in your system. We don't want to do that. So we can eliminate that if I take out this junction here and replace it with a routed item, a routed junction pipe. What this does, notice it's blue, so it's different than these. These are that kind of purple, green, and red. This one's green and blue. What it does is it makes the system do a calculation at every one of those to determine, hey, is there anywhere down there for me to put this item? If so, I'll send it that way. But if not, then I'm going to check here. Is there anywhere down here for this item? Yes. Okay, I'm going to shoot it down this way instead. So it automatically forces it down the right path. So if I redo our little test with that in place, we're going to see that all the items flow the correct way the first time, and there's no bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Pretty darn snazzy. And of course, these pipes can be hugely long and do, wrap around, and you can have tons of things hanging off the back of them. It's all good, as long as you have your interfaces set correctly. Now, one of the other things you can do with this setup is extract items back out. So this would be our input chest, and obviously we're storing, uranium and nickel. But what if I wanted to get uranium or nickel out of the system rather than walking up to the chest? Well, there's this guy here. I'm just going to build some cable off to the side here. This is this item called a routed request pipe. This lets you see everything in your system and request items back out of the system. So if I right click it right now, I'm not going to see anything. Reason being is because I haven't told these chests to become a part of this system yet. Right now they're just storage chests because we have this card in there. We need to add these cards, these item broadcaster chips. These will allow it to actually allow this guy to read the contents of the chest. So let's take a look at the settings for them. We've got priority again. So if we had multiple cobblestone chests that I wanted to pull out, starting from this one and then go to this one so it doesn't bounce around, I could do that. Orientation we're not going to worry about. Filter, again, we can whitelist or blacklist, so you can only pull specific things out of this chest. So if I put this card in here, well, we just put one into the nickel chest right here. Now we see that we have 128 nickel inside that chest. So it's allowing us to read the content, but we can't read this chest because we don't have a card. So we need another card there. And now we can read the contents of both chests. And again, this allows us to pull items out. If I want nickel and I want 10 nickel, I just set that to 10. I say submit. And you can see successfully requested 10 of nickel ingot. So it pulled from here, brought it down the pipe, and shot it out right here. If I want all of the nickel, all, and I say submit, and I'm going to get all of it. Now you saw it went past this junction back to here before it came back. Same problem we had over here, because we don't have anything forcing it to do that calculation right here. So we could pull this out, put in a junction pipe, and that problem goes away. It now forces that calculation. So, and when you get the little line traveling through there, that's just telling you the system's connected and doing what it's supposed to do. So I can put these back into here. They'll be stored back into the original storage location. So if I want these and I want 7 of them, submit, and then I want these and I want 12 of them, submit. And there we got 7 and 12. Fantastic. And just put them right back in the system. And you see they immediately go to the right place. So we've basically built kind of ghetto poor man's storage system, much like our refined storage system or applied energistics 2. Though it's much simpler, but very powerful in and of its own rights, and pretty cool to watch the items flow through. So we're going to use this today to build a fish farm. And a fish farm that does a lot of sorting. And I've actually already done this because of the whole recording thing. So it's already done. Bear with me. But you're still going to see what it's capable of doing. So we've got our resources fisher from industrial foregoing. Now you do need to plant this 1 block above the water. And if we look at the working area, you can see it's working right below the water here. We don't really need any expansions or anything. It's quite capable of just working in the 1 block. And then we have a power source. And then, of course, we've got our interface pipe with an extractor on it. So it's just sucking out of the machine here and spitting the items down here and into our base place that way. And I don't know why I meant to put I want some sand. I can't see if that's sand or not. It's too daggum dark down there. Let's get some sand. There we go. I meant to cover up this little hole down here, which will stop the running water sound. There we go. Or at least limit the running water sound. So we see the items disappearing under the water and into this little room. Now I've put a little door here just to get it out of the way, and what I've done is I expanded our room for Botania just over here. And I built a wall of drawers with a controller. So the items come in from over here. You see them shooting down the pipe. Because we have the routed junction pipe, they just immediately turn and go up here into the controller if it's something that's supposed to go up there. So all the little fishy foods, all the little things you see in the drawers here are going to go up there. Just straight away. Now, we've got this pipe carried on over here, and we've got another routed junction pipe right there. Then we go up into a trash can, so we can get rid of bows and boots, the leather boots and bows and fishing rods, all things we just don't need. Plus, if any of this happens to overflow, the overflow will also go into the trash. Then I've got, continued to pipe along and brought it into the side of these RF Tools modular storage devices. And these are holding all of our books. So any books we get end up in here. Now, this guy can hold 300 stacks, and this guy can hold 300 stacks. So we're going to get 600 books. Once we get more, they'll start going to trash over here. Now let's see how I did this. So again, we have our item responder chips, and I'm just going to pull this one out and we're going to take a look at him. And that guy was already in the system. Yeah, these guys were already in the system before I pulled the card out, so should be fine. There we go. Now the system doesn't know what to do with up here anymore because the card is gone. So it's actually just going to hit the routed junction, send them to the trash, and be done with them. So it's kind of a nice little setup. You can't really break it. So if I look at this card, you'll see priority I've set to 10, so it's a pretty high priority. If it can store it in the drawers, it will. Filter. I have filtered. We don't want any leather boots, any fishing rods, any bows, or any books. And I don't have any of the, we're not matching metadata, we're not matching MBT. If I did, then it would only say bows of unbreaking 3, for example, with that durability would be passed. I don't want to do all that. I just want bows, fishing rods, boots, and books, all of them. So they're all going to bypass here and ship on around here to be processed in other places. So if I come over to the trash can, actually let's do the books next, shall we? If I look at the books, now on the books we have a whitelist for books, and again, no additional settings. And we have a priority of 3. So it's not as high as over there, but it's going to be higher than the trash can. So whenever we get a book, the system's going to look and say, well, it can't go in there because it's blacklisted. Even though that's the highest priority, it's going to come over here and go, okay, I can go in here, but it's got a lower priority than over here, so I'm going to send it over here first. So this has, what was it, this has a 3, so they all go in here first. This one has a 2, so it's slightly less. So this one will fill up first, this one will fill up second. Then if we look at this one for the trash can, we can see that it has a priority of 1. So it's, of everything in the setup, it's the lowest priority. And no filters. It can take anything. Any item can be sent to the trash. Assuming it has nowhere else to go, that's where it's going to wind up. But that's pretty much it for our little fish farm here. Now, this has been running for a little while. Of course, we got 333 name tags, bones. So it's doing a pretty decent job here. It's almost got 300 books. Just cranking away. I did go ahead and put void upgrades on all the drawers, so when they fill up with these fish, we don't have to rely on the trash can to get rid of them. Just the void upgrade will take care of that for us. But it's going to sit here and just collect all manner of item for us fantastically. And I did go ahead and take the refined storage cable here, and I extended down and under the floor. And behind this drawer controller, you can see it right there. And then we have a refined storage, external storage on the back of this controller. So all of these items now show up in our refined storage system. So if I look at name tags, I've got 333. If I come over here and do name tag, which is something I wasn't collecting before, I now have 333 name tags in our refined storage system because they're all stored right there, which is awesome. So that's how I got a little quick fish farm set up for us. I said nothing too fancy. Easy peasy with the resource fisher from Industrial Foregoing. Just remember you need to set your output to the correct direction. So we're out to the right from this angle. We're out to the right, so we've got that green and everything else red. Don't forget to power it, and then it's going to crank out for you. The biggest thing with Project Red Transport is people forget the cards. So usually they remember it on one side and forget it on the other side. But you need a card everywhere. Every single side needs a card. Otherwise it's not going to work properly. So let's take a quick look at how to build these things. So if we look up here at Project Red Transportation, if I do it, we can see the item transport pipe is just simply glass and stone. Super cheap, super easy. The junction pipes take this these two new materials. So you've got infused silicon and you've got this Illumar. Now Illumar comes in many different colors. So here we've got red, here we've got green. You'll have cyan, you'll have purple or magenta. Yeah, there's blue or purple, there's gray. You get lots of different colors, orange. All it is glowstone and some dye. And remember, we made that Botania dye farm way back over here quite some time ago. Let's actually hit the jets. There we go. Right in here, we've made that Botania dye farm, which I've got off right now because it's got so many different dyes. We set it up down here to make both petals and the dye powders. And we can just use these to make the Illumar. Super easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that'll take care of that for us. Not going to be a worry or bother. So the other thing is that... Whoop, little lag spike. The other thing is that silicon. Now that is a little tougher. So, where is it? There we go. For this infused silicon, to make this, you have to cook red silicon. Okay, not a problem. To cook red silicon, or to get the red silicon, you have to put redstone around silicon. Okay, still relatively easy. To get the silicon, you have to cut a silicon bowl. Okay, a little bit weird. You guys, so you got to make a diamond saw, and then you got to make a silicon bowl. The silicon bowl, you have to cook shady coal or sandy coal compound. Okay, we're getting a little crazy now. To get sandy coal compound, you have to put the sand around a block of coal. So we did a whole bunch of setup to be able to do this. So you look at almost every one of these, there's going to be something to do with this. So we have the pattern for the diamond saw. We have, where are they all? There we go. There's the red silicon compound. But then don't forget we have some cooking. There's several steps where we have to do cooking, right? So we've got in here the pattern to make the bowl, and we've got the pattern to make the compound by cooking it here in this in this furnace. So it is a bit of a process. I do highly recommend setting it up for auto crafting through your Find Storage or AE2 systems to be able to do it. And then you can make all this Project Red transportation stuff, which is pretty darn cool. I really do kind of like this setup here. I think it's pretty spiffy. Just being able to, early game, this would be a great choice for, quick early game stuff. It's not terribly expensive, and it's pretty easy to set up. And like I said, you can set up chests to store dang near everything, just with a little setup like this. And all you have poking out of the wall is this piece right here, and maybe your input chest. So when you come home from mining, you just dump it all in your input chest. The system sorts it out for you, and you want to get anything, it's all just listed right here, ready to go. Pretty damn gum snazzy. But I do think that's going to do it for this episode. I know it's a bit of a short one, but I have actually been working for over an hour getting all this stuff set up in doing the whole first recording, so a little bit short on time here. But I really do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me, as always. And until next time, you guys get out there and make some noise. See ya.